sacrifice, crucifixion. You gave your life for us. We live. I'm here to share a word with good intent. Now tell me what you see. Division in our communities. This ain't living. But because of the LOVE from you, Lord, forgive us.
The Lord is love, the Lord is love. 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 The Lord is love, the Lord is love.
Shit, that's nasty, man.
They learned that from you there.
Yes. What up, dog? What up, dog? What it is. Another Thursday. And we had to start the show off with a little memorial to those fallen children and the two teachers. You know, we had to do that. You know, special tribute, of course. You know, condolences still as the little babies is being laid to rest. You know what I'm saying? So we had to get that done first and foremost. And now, welcome to Tantalizing Thursdays with Mr. Drummond. Lady Dimples, she got the night off tonight, you know. So y'all just gonna be kicking it with me tonight, you know. So come on in and have some fun and talk to your boy. This is season 2, episode 1, The Greatest Comeback. Bouncing back after betrayal. That's the hot topic, you know. Bouncing back after betrayal. That's a good one right there because it's kind of hard to bounce back after betrayal, you know, a little bit. You know, it is. It's kind of hard, you know, because it actually is kind of, one is easy, the other is hard. Because if it's just somebody that done backstabbed you and you know, and betrayed you, you know, you ain't really cool with that person, you know, it's like, hey, whatever. You know, I don't even mess with you. I don't deal with you, you know. But if it's somebody that's close to you, man, that's kind of like a different type of betrayal. But we're going to get into what betrayal is and the different types of betrayal. And finally, how to get back right afterwards, you know. Because that betrayal shit, boy, it could be more than a notion, especially if it's a person that is real close to you, you know. Because that backstabbing, you know, man, that shit's crazy. And if you want to ask questions, join us live on the show. Comment me in the comments and come on live on the show and kick it with your boy, Mr. Drummond, and talk a little shit with me about this betrayal. You know, betrayal is something, man, that's a mean dude. It is. Betrayal, somebody betray you, it's like I said, especially if they close to you, man, ain't no turning back, you know. So, you know, basically, let's get into it. What is betrayal? What is betrayal? What is betrayal? It's the act of betraying someone or something, or the fact of being betrayed, violation of a person's trust or confidence, of a moral standard, etc. Facts. So basically, you done broke the G code. You know, betrayal is something different, you know. And some of us done experienced betrayal. I know I done been betrayed, you know, and and it don't feel good. And like I say, especially if it's somebody that's close to you, you know. And it's like once you betray, it's like how do you even begin to trust that person again, or gain any confidence to trust that person again? You know, because if a person will betray you once, 9 times out of 10 they'll do it again. And trust me, I done been betrayed more than once, you know. So it's a crazy thing. But at the same time, I done did a little betrayal, you know. You know, I ain't too above that shit, you know. I done betrayed people too, you know. And it's a hard thing to deal with, you know, shit. And it's like, how do you begin to trust? You know, how do you get the confidence to trust that person again? You know, this and that. Let them in your life. You know, it just be like, dog, nah, I don't really think so, you know, because betrayal is deep. You know, you done stabbed me deep. You know, you done took it to a whole new level with it. You know, you ain't just do something dirty. You went to betrayal, you know, and it's like, nah, you know, me and you, we really can't even kick it like that, you know. But I come from a time where, you know, forgiveness was everything. So, you know, you'll forgive a person, but, you know, it'd be like that, you know, it ain't the same. It ain't the same after, you know, a betrayal. It ain't the same, you know. So what else about this betrayal, you know? But we're going to kick it with a song, though. We're going to jump into Angelo Notes, Detroit times 2. Let's see what y'all like about this. See if y'all like this.
Hey, yo, Nino, that cat.
Play that shit on TNT.
I said Detroit. Sorry I hit you in a minute. I've been on mission. Came right back to what it was. You know I do not miss it. And what you said is how you said it. That shit got me conflicted. When it's up there, it's up there. And ain't no switching. Crazy the world changed. Still get judged up pigment. Do a million things for them that act like you ain't did shit. All it take is a couple bands for that backdoor tip. I was patiently praying. I ain't have to dump them clips. What I had is what you had. So why you feel like this? Rather kick it by myself. The vibes ain't been racist. And don't trust niggas, so you know I gotta ride with the blick. And tell it ain't enough, my nigga, you gotta grind with this shit. Hey, hey. I said Detroit. It's your local. It'll touch your soul. It'll touch your soul. Hey, I said Detroit. It'll hurt your soul. It'll hurt your soul. It'll touch your soul. I really can't get around myself. And vibes ain't been right. See, I don't trust nobody else. Gotta ride the blick, cause telling ain't enough. Gotta climb with this shit. Knock me down a couple times. I was starving at sea. And I ain't have no life jacket. I was drowning in that sea. Wasn't no big homie around. Wasn't no OG for me. Had to hop up off that porch and scorch it. Had to pay that fee. Pay the fee. Oh, you know I had to pay the fee. I was stuck up in the trance. Put a drink up in my cup. They wasn't fucking with they mans. That is earning to know me now. You don't know what's coming. I'm like chest homie. Off-white McKeans, black and Mary, so low-key. And I hate to damage your heart. Can't wear one on my sleeve. I chasing this bread cause being broke come with me. Ever since I caught it off the backboard, ain't been the same though. MVP of the league. Yeah, I feel like James though. I said Detroit. It's your local, so cold. It'll touch your bones. It'll hurt your bones. It'll touch your soul. I said Detroit, 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 Detroit. Yeah. I said Detroit, Detroit. That shit so cold. You know what hurt your soul. That cold to touch your bones. Yeah.
Yeah, want to give a shout out to Angelo Notes with that Detroit times two, because we're kicking it in Detroit with you, and that's for sure. Want to give a shout out to SG. Couldn't do it without you, and that's for sure. You know, but Angelo, you got to keep sending us them hits, boy. That Detroit times two, I like that for shizzle. And back to the topic. It was two statements that came up. I want to get back into the first statement that came up was charisma knows best. I want to see that again. And don't forget to like, share, and tell a friend. Tantalizing Thursdays with Mr. Drummond. Yeah, bouncing back after betrayal. Yeah, I want to see the comment from charisma knows best. I want to see that. Yeah. You know, charisma said a lot of times it depends on the sincerity of the person's apology and the reason behind it. And I'm gonna consider that to be, but yeah, that's facts. You know, because some people, you know, they can betray somebody, and if the apology is sufficient, you know, I think it's worth it, you know. So it's like you know, who could go wrong with a good old apology? You know what I'm saying? Who can go wrong? You know, and it's like, yeah, okay, the sincerity of the apology, I can go with that. Yeah, and then it was another one right after that. Shonda said, betrayal is something that is really hard to get past. You may forgive and you may try to forget, but it's hard when you think about the pain it caused. And see, that's facts. That's why betrayal is hard, you know, because it rewinds over and over again in your head. It's almost like you can't stop thinking about it almost. It's just like a part of your brain, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know, why? You know, it's just, that's the biggest question. Why? You know, why did that person do this? You know, why did it happen like that? You know, but we do have a special guest, Mr. J. You know, he gonna come on and give us that expertise, you know, about a betrayal trauma practitioner, you know. So without further ado, Mr. J. Hello there. Hello there.
Aloha.
How you doing? How you doing?
I am fantastic. I apologize for being late, and I appreciate me being on here. I don't want to waste my time with saying sorry. I just want to get right into it. So
hey,
I can talk.
Mad at you. Hey, we can get right into it. Hey, give us your expertise on the betrayal and the bounce back.
Well, first of all, let me just tell you, the only thing I'm an expert in failure, but that's okay, because from failure, that's where we learn. So I am Coach J, Mr. J. You can call me any kind of J you want. I was an intrapersonal relationship coach for many years. And what an intrapersonal relationship coach is the relationship that people have with themselves. Because I always say that the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone and standard for all other relationships around you. Then I lost my father rather quickly a couple years ago. And after losing my father abruptly, I went through a pretty difficult time where a lot of my childhood trauma came up. As a matter of fact, a couple weeks after my father's funeral, I woke up in the middle of the night from a panic attack and I smelled smoke. Now, nothing in our house was burning whatsoever, but we had a house fire when I was 6 years old. And so that trauma was what was coming up in the middle of the night, just unhealed trauma from my childhood. So I said, I need to do something with all of this unhealed trauma from my childhood. So that's when I started looking into trauma coaching, which led me into betrayal trauma coaching, which led me to be certified as a betrayal trauma practitioner. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, so I was certified as a betrayal trauma practitioner. And I say sadly, that's when my calls started skyrocketing. And the reason I say sadly is because for as much as I love what I do and I'm very passionate about what I do, I'm very saddened that so many people are going through and have gone through betrayal trauma, because the only way you can go through betrayal trauma is when one of your primary attachments or somebody very close to you. So I can keep going, or you can ask me questions. And I can't see you. Am I supposed to see you?
I was caught listening to the information. You know, you had me, but you know, in all of it's like that. That's what I was basically saying. Like the betrayal, that when it comes from a person that's close to you, you know, that to me what be the hardest is like if the person ain't really, you know, like that real like close to you, it kind of like just kind of blow off a little bit. But it be the person that's really close to you that where, you know, it sting harder. It's just like, why? It's just that question of why. And that's my question is, why do we go through the question of why?
Well, so betrayal trauma hits us at our core insecurities. So for instance, I'm going to give you a hypothetical example. Let's just say you'll take a traditional male-female couple, and let's just say the male stepped out of the relationship. He broke trust. And when you break trust with a spoken or unspoken rule of a relationship, that's betrayal. And oftentimes what you'll hear is the female saying, "How could you do this? Do you think I'm that ugly?" Or the next female might say, "How in the world did you do this to me? Do you think I'm that worthless?" And if you listen to the words you're saying, they're talking their core insecurities. One has a lot of insecurities about her looks. That's why she says, "Do you think I'm that ugly?" The next one has some insecurities about her self-worth, which is why she said, "Do you think I'm that worth it?" So betrayal hits us at our core insecurities. You know, the thing that breaks with betrayal trauma is intimacy is severed. Intimacy is shattered. Intimacy is decimated. Right. And what is intimacy? Intimacy is into me, see. So if I'm intimate with somebody, and I don't mean sex, I mean, sex might be included, but I don't mean sex at all. When you're intimate with somebody, you're sharing your secrets, your fears, your insecurities, and somebody took the best of you and used it against you. That's betrayal trauma. Now, obviously, I don't care who you are, color, who you love, race, Republican, Democrat, left-handed, right-handed, red-haired, it doesn't matter. All of us have been traumatized in our life. All of us have been betrayed in our life. But depending on the attachment you have with the person who's betrayed is how significant your hurt is. So listen, you could you could be betrayed by a cashier. They could intentionally give you less change than you deserve, and you might be a little annoyed, but you don't have a primary attachment with the cashier. When you have a primary attachment with somebody, whether that's your mother, your father, your child, your parent, your significant other, and listen, there's even self-betrayal trauma. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and they're like, I did all my exercises, I drank all my shakes, I did my meditation, I ate right, and I was still diagnosed with breast cancer. Well, that's a betrayal of themselves. Or maybe, they feel God betrayed them. So betrayal trauma comes in all shapes and sounds and sizes. The one of the core differences with trauma and betrayal trauma is that betrayal trauma is a secret society. If a parent passes away, right? That's sad. That's traumatizing. That's horrific.
Yes.
But if your parent passes away, you call your job and you tell them my parent passed away, and what do? You get some bereavement time. You get maybe some flowers sent home from your boss. You get your coworkers that come and send you some, cards and attend the funeral. You're with somebody who steps out of your marriage and betrays you and cheats on you. You are devastated. Your mind, body, and soul was ravished and decimated. You're in the fetal position in bed. What are you going to do? Call your job and say, I need broken trust time? There's no such thing. Then if you do want to tell your boss what exactly happened, now it comes with shame, stigma, embarrassment. Then if you do take time off, they're not going to give you time off for broken trust. If you do take time off, it's going to come your vacation time or personal time, and you need that time to heal from the betrayal. So it's a secret society, unlike any other trauma. I can stop talking because I feel like I'm blabbing.
Oh, no. Why does it seem like that trauma lasts so long? And why does it seem like it continues to come back even when you think you're over it?
Okay, a couple things. Great questions. A couple things. Trauma is like a kink in your back, right? What do we do with a kink? We usually do one of these things and we ignore it, and maybe we'll do that, whatever. So I don't know if you've ever been to a masseur. You go to get like a full body massage. Well, first of all, you're thinking, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to be so relaxed. I'm going to get a full body massage. Next thing you know, you're laying in that bed and man, they're like doing this to your back and you're almost on the verge of tears. Like, oh my God. Well, that's because they're ironing out that kink. And if you do iron out that kink, it's simply going to move to another part of your body. Trauma is like lava in our body. And just like lava, it kills everything in its path. So if you don't iron out those kinks, if you don't iron out the trauma properly, it's just going to go and manifest itself somewhere at some point in the future. This is why I'll talk to people that are 20, 30, 40 years past their initial trauma or betrayal, and they're still dealing with some effects, or they're dealing now with spiritual effects. They're dealing with physical effects. The other thing too, just to answer part B, is listen, the difference between animals and humans is animals have what's called a green zone. And so for instance, when a lion chases a zebra, right? Or any gazelle, what have you, after the gazelle gets away, after the zebra gets away, if you ever notice in the wild, the animal will shake like this. It'll just shake. What's it doing is it's shaking off that trauma, and then it goes back into the green space. Now, the green space in an animal is what in humans is called the central vagal state. The central vagal state is a parasympathetic state where we are calm, we're healing, we're this. But here's the deal. Humans like to self-reflect, which is, but it makes us stay in our trauma. So we're not going to sit there and say, why did that lion come out of the tree and try to chase me? What was he doing? Why does he disrespect me so much? And this is what we do. We constantly reflect on our trauma and we actually re-traumatize ourselves. I tell people all the time, you know what I tell people? I say, listen, we narrate, then we ruminate, we marinate. So for instance, if I say right now, your hat looks ridiculous on you, right? Okay, so I just gave you some pain, right? But it's going to be up to you if you want to give your suffering. So if you want to spend the next few days, the next few weeks, I can't believe Mr. J, he said my hat looked ridiculous. Wait till the next time he's on my show. Oh my God, wait till the next. Okay, so you narrated what I said, then you ruminated, and then you stayed in there for so long, you now marinated. And once you're marinating in anger and resentment and whatever, then you start changing the neural pathways in your brain. You're actually creating neural pathways in your brain, which is going to take a lot more to get rid of. So that's why we stay in trauma so long, because we love to take other people's pain and cause us long-term suffering.
Facts. That's interesting. That's very interesting, because for real, because to embody it, because it's a lot of, when it's like the build up. So it's like you done embodied it, like you said, it's the volcano and the lava, and it's like,
yeah. Now, let me just say this for anybody watching or going to listen to this, because betrayal trauma is a relatively new concept. I mean, it's been around since day one, but betrayal trauma is a relatively new keyed concept. It was coined by a woman named Jennifer Freed in 1991. So it's actually relatively new. But I'm gonna give people a visual example of what betrayal trauma is. Okay, I want you to just think about for a second. There's a very thin bridge 2 miles above land, right? Two miles above the earth, and under that very thin bridge is a volcano, lava, fire. And you need to walk across that bridge to safety. Now, in your arms, you got your 2 babies. You got one baby in this arm, one baby in the other arm. You got to get across that bridge safely, because if you fall off that bridge, it's imminent death. Fire, lava, you name it. Yeah. Now, who's leading you across that bridge? The person you trust the most in life. The person you trust the most in life is leading you across that bridge while you're holding on to your 2 babies. Exactly. And so as you're walking across the bridge, sometimes the smoke from the fire is so blinding, you got to put your hand on the person's shoulder in front of you, whoever that is, your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, whoever that is that you trust the most in life. Next thing you know, the bridge completely collapses. You're falling. You got your 2 babies in your arm. Your mind is hijacked. You're in safety mode. You're trying to hang on to anything possible because you're trying to save the lives of your baby and yourself. You're not even thinking, you're reacting. And while you're falling, you look up and you see the person you trusted the most has a hammer in their hand. They're the ones that broke the bridge. You can't make sense of anything now. That's betrayal trauma.
Man, now that's deep. That's deep. You look up, and the person you trusted the most was the person with the hammer that broke the bridge. Now that ain't deep. Now that's a ooh type of betrayal right there.
How do you get over that? And that's where people are stuck a lot.
Man, that is whoo. That was a hell of a scenario right there.
Yeah. Now, so I just want to say, sometimes I get calls. I mean, obviously, betrayal trauma is on a spectrum for many reasons. I mean, because sometimes like betrayal trauma can come from your boss. Sometimes it can come from your mother, father, significant other, whatever. But betrayal trauma is on a spectrum. And sometimes I'll get a call the day of discovery, which is D-Day. I don't know if you're familiar with D-Day, the day of discovery. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll get a call and people are literally on the phone with me while they're bear hugging the toilet vomiting because they just found the lip gloss in the car. They just found the numbers under their mattress. They just, what have you. And like I said, then I talk to people 30, 40 years out that are still dealing with some kind of effects.
There was a question in the crowd. The council asked, is there a way to protect ourselves from this betrayal in the first place?
So there actually there's a 90% way we can protect ourselves. Now listen, we're human, And so there isn't 100%, in my opinion, there's not 100% way to prevent it, but there is a 90% chance. This is why I say humans like cars, okay, with 4 tires. You know, there's the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the physical, you know, whatever. You can't drive down the street when one of your tires is full of air and the other ones aren't. What we need to do is all 4 tires are very aired up. Now, this is what happens usually. We get into relationships, and relationships are a dance, okay? It's, I want to hold on to me while I'm holding on to you, and I need you to hold on to yourself while you're holding on to me, and we need to dance this relationship. Not to mention, we also have to continuously build bridges for one another, because listen, are you the same person today than you were 5 years ago? No, you're not going to be the same person 5 years from now than you are today. You are growing. I don't even say we're human beings. We're human evolvements. We continuously grow. And if we're growing, we have to not only get to know ourselves, we have to get to know our spouse, because they're growing as well. So it's a continual dance. It's building bridges to one another. But here's what happens. While we're living, because, you know, we have kids, and I don't have to tell you, for as much as we have medicinal and technological advances, our lives seem more stressed than anything. We get up in the morning and our kids want more out of us. We go to work, our boss wants more out of us. We come home, our spouse wants more of us. We go to church on Sunday, our pastor wants more out of us. So what we start doing is we start compromising our boundaries and our needs. Okay, I'm not going to work out as much because I need to do A, B, and C. I'm not going to meditate or pray as much because somebody needs me. I'm not going to, you know, wash my face and do my self-care and journal and read the Bible. I'm not going to do all this because other people need me. Then you start losing yourself. Once you start losing yourself, you start losing touch with your intuition. And then you get into what's called betrayal blindness, which I'll tell you in a second. Let me just go back to the question.
Yes, indeed.
So to answer the question, you got to make sure all 4 of your tires are full. I tell people all the time, self-care is not vanity, it's sanity. Listen, the Titanic, as strong as it was, it would have never floundered if all the water that was on the outside of it stayed on the outside of it. But what happened was when that seawater came in, it floundered. And I always say, if you don't take care of yourself, if you flounder, you can't help anybody around you. Listen, you have to fill your cup first. Everything overflowing out of your cup is for everybody else. We can be as big and strong and bold as the Titanic, but if we're going to let all of life's anxieties and stresses and come in, next thing you know, we lose ourselves, and that's where betrayal can get a hold of our relationship. Now, I just want to say, should I stop or keep going?
Oh, go ahead, talk. This is a talk show.
Okay, so there's what's called betrayal blindness, okay? I call it the Red Riding Hood syndrome. Red Riding Hood, she was desperate to see her grandma, right? She wanted to see her grandma. That's it. She probably stayed home for 2 years from COVID. She missed her grandma. She wanted to go see her grandma. So she baked all these banana breads and all these baked goods, and she walked through the forest, and she went to her grandma's house, and what's the first thing she said? Grandma, why is your eyes so beady? Grandma, why is your jaw and your teeth are so sharp? Now listen. She knew something was up. She knew something was up, but she so desperately wanted to see her grandmother that she had blinders on. And guess what happened? She got betrayed. She died. Right. So this is what we do. We go into relationships, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Bible verse, love covers a multitude of sins. So I'm so familiar with it that it's my signature on my text line. When I send out texts, that's my signature. Love covers a multitude of sins. Okay. To anyone that I text. Awesome. So this is what happens. We get into relationships, right? And in the beginning of the relationships, what are we all? We're all biased judges. All biased judges. This is what happens. Oh, he didn't disrespect me. He was just having a stressful day. oh, he didn't mean to grab my arm. He just reacted and he grabbed my arm. You know, he didn't. So what we do is every time we're disrespected, when we have our pink glasses on at the beginning of a relationship, love covers a multitude of sins. Oh, he disrespected me? We put a blanket over that. Love covers a multitude of sins. Oh, he put his hands on me? Put a blanket on it. Love covers a multitude of... Well, what happens after we finally find the lip gloss in the car, the numbers under the mattress, the phone bill comes in, what have you, then those blankets start coming off, and now we get double punched. Now double punched. We're punched with what happened, but now also we're punched by ourselves. How could I be so blind? How could I be so stupid? And that's called betrayal blindness. Now, actually, betrayal blindness is, believe it or not, there's a biology behind betrayal blindness, and it's part of our sympathetic system. And the reason why we have betrayal blindness is because our bodies know that if we were to, in fact, address or acknowledge something, we would suffer greatly. So our sympathetic kicks in and actually protects us and blinds us to that betrayal. For instance, I'm going to take a male-female couple, right? Let's just say the male works, the female stays home. She's got 3 kids, right? Mm-hmm. She gets into her car and she sees a blonde hair. She don't have blonde hair. She sees the blonde hair. Her gut, and women have intuition. Oh my God, it's like, whoo, women's intuition. Indeed. They need to trust it more than their brain. So here's the deal. She knows something's up. She knows something's up. But betrayal blindness kicks in. Why? Right. Because she knows if she starts questioning her husband, oh my God, where am I going to take the kids and leave? How am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to clothe my kids? Where am I going to go? So for self-protection purposes, she doesn't dive into those deep dive questions. That's betrayal blindness. It's easier to be blind than to acknowledge something, because the bigger picture could be more painful. But what happens is 9 times out of 10, when the rubber hits the road and D-Day comes, now you're beating yourself up, not only for everything you've been through, but for the fact that you didn't trust your intuition.
Right. We had 2 comments I wanna go back to. It was from the same person, but it was 2 comments. Tanya said, shaking my head, betrayal is out here more now than ever. People have to go through a lifetime interview of studying people's intentions, family and all. And then she said,
I agree.
Oh,
go ahead.
And then she said, some never grow past the negative influence to deceive others. A child will try to deceive their parents and get away with it if they can. So a lot of people are in the phase as an adult, but it's not their parents anymore. It's everybody they can deceive.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Listen, we live in a microwave society. I don't want to be blunt, but I'm going to be a little forward, okay?
Hey, this is a talk show. Have your way.
Okay, so can I say the word butt? Like the real one.
You can say ass. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. So listen.
Hey.
We live in a microwave society, right? If we want a cheeseburger, all we got to do is wait in line for 2 minutes and order a cheeseburger. If we want a piece of ass, all we got to do is download an app, and within 2 minutes, we got a piece of ass. We live in a microwave society, and that's how people treat relationships nowadays. Oh, going is getting a little rough. Let me change you in for something else. Because we live in a microwave society. This is why I say all the time, one of the reasons why our grandparents stayed together is because they were raised in a generation where when something was broke, you fix it. You don't run and exchange it. You fix it. Now, I'm not going to say that some of our grandparents should have never stayed together. We all know that there's probably some grandparents that shouldn't. Right. But we nowadays, what's so interesting? I'm a wedding officiant. And oftentimes when I'm marrying a young couple and they're exchanging I do's, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about, here you are exchanging the I do, and you don't even know who the I am is. So how in the world can you give to somebody else something when you don't even know what it is you're giving them? And we all come into we all come into marriages with our baggage, and we all want somebody to heal our broken wounds. But guess what? The person that's standing on the other side of us saying I do wants their wounds healed too. But we don't have time for that. Just like they don't have time for this. So, we need to, one of the biggest things to answer this lady's question is, it really doesn't matter what kind of society we live in. It doesn't matter what kind of people we're dealing with. What matters is our own boundaries. Because like I said, the relationship we have with ourselves sets the tone and standard for all other relationships around you. I'm going to tell you something. Oh, is this a question?
She said love gives you a chance after chance, but love will move on, but still love a person.
Yes, I don't know if I'm picking up what she's putting down. The things that when I work with people, I try to do is listen. A lot of times when we're young, we're like birds. And what we want to do is we want to find a big, strong, handsome branch to land on. And it's going to make us feel secure and loved and warm in the winter. And that's fine, great, and dandy. We can. But what happens when that branch collapses? And oftentimes it does. We fall to the ground. So what we need to do as a bird is we need to know and strengthen our own wings. We can still land on that big, beautiful, loving branch to keep us warm and safe. But now we know if that branch breaks, oh, hell's to the so no, I'm not going down. Let me spread my wings and fly.
And fly. Yeah. Ooh, preach. Y'all heard it here on Tantalizing Thursday. I'm telling you, man, we get down and dirty with it here. You say what you will, because people need this, little do they know they need this. And don't forget to like, share, and tell a friend, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come on and ask Mr. J something, just comment me and we'll put you on the screen and you can talk to Mr. J before we get out of here, and I'm glad to have you, because you enlightening me, because when you think about betrayal, it's only like certain ways that you think about it. But you done enlighten me on all different types of other ways of betrayal. So that's very interesting, So I'm glad to have you because you're teaching me.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to say, like I said, betrayal affects our core insecurities, even on a spiritual level. Because how many times do you hear? I can't tell you how many times I've heard it. People after betrayal. One of two things happen spiritually. They either curse God and walk away from God, or they cling onto him like nothing else. And obviously the reasons is because, and I hear this all the time, not only did my spouse betray me, but I feel God betrayed me. Before I got married, I prayed fervently. I asked God, please bring somebody into my life that's going to make me feel special, that's going to love me, that's going to see me through the hard times, that's going to pick me up when I'm down. God, not only did they do this to me, but I prayed and you told me this was the person for me, and they did this? Where are you? Who are you? Are you even real?
Right.
Now they feel betrayed them. And then there's the other people who are like, oh my God, my spouse betrayed me. I have to cling on to God like never before. So this is why, there's no such thing as a one size fits all with betrayal healing.
Right.
Before I was a special education teacher for many, many years. And I used to teach kids with special needs. And while I was a teacher, you have what's called an IEP, which is an individualized education plan. Right. And so every child learns differently. So every child has to be taught differently. So you ask a battery of questions, you give them a battery of tests, and then you teach children based on their specific needs. Well, I took that concept into my coaching and I created what's called an IHP, and that's an individualized healing plan, because your healing from betrayal trauma is going to be completely different from the next person, and it's going to be different on many, many reasons. Even down to where on the totem pole are your siblings, because if you're an eldest child, you're going to view the world differently from a youngest child perspective.
Right.
From your attachment style, do you have a secure attachment? Are you fearful or avoidant? Do you have dismissive? What have your attachment style? Also, your love language. I don't know if you're familiar with love languages, but your love language can be deeply affected. For example, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, your love language is quality time. So you really value quality time. Well, if you find out that your significant other was spending a lot of quality time with their coworker, that's going to hurt you much more than, say, if they went out and bought them a tie or something. You're still going to be devastated and hurt that they bought them a tie, but because it was your love language that they took and gave it to someone else, that's going to affect you. So there's no one size fits all with healing.
Right, that's true. That's very true. And tell us, with all this deep, good information, tell the people where they can find you.
So listen, I'll tell you, I'm going to give you my website, which is very easy to remember. It's mrjrelationshipcoach.com. Very, very simple. But let me just say this. Even if people never, ever, ever want to work with me at all, just go to my website because I have a lot of free resources. I am on all kinds of social media, constantly giving all kinds of tips and trauma healing. I have a YouTube channel where I have hundreds of videos on how to deal with everything from divorce to marriage to dating to healing from trauma. So even if you don't come to my website to talk to me, come take advantage of my many, many free resources. Again, that's mrjrelationshipcoach.com.
And it's right there on the screen for everybody to see. mrjrelationshipcoach.com. The man is real. He comes with the really real. Because I'm telling you, taught me a lot. Betrayal is something else now that I done found out that all the different sides of it, it's deep. It cuts deep. Betrayal, from how you explain it, it cuts deep.
And can I just say something? I don't know. I know we're running short on time. The person who usually betrays our boundaries the most is ourselves. And I just want to give you a quick example. I was talking to this lady a couple of weeks ago, and she said, I live in California and I'm dating, and I have a rule where guys do not come to my house on a first date. They have to meet me at the restaurant. It's my rule. It's my boundary. And so she's talking and she was like, I went out with this guy the other day, and, he tried to kiss me at the end of the night. And I said, okay, one quick kiss and we're good. But he really kept kissing me, and he was really aggressive with trying to feel me up and whatever. So in our conversation, wound up telling me, she said, well, this guy lived far away. He lived far away, so I made an exception. I said, you know what? You can just come to my house and pick me up. You live far away. And then it dawned on me. I said, listen, you told him it was okay to compromise your boundaries. If you have a rule, you stick to them, period.
Right.
Now listen, you don't have to be so rigid that you're a robot, but if you have a boundary, and listen, we teach people how to treat us. If you're going to blur your boundaries, you're teaching people that my boundaries are negotiable. So don't be surprised if somebody's trying to put their hands up your shirt at the end of the night if you told them, hey, my boundaries are negotiable.
Exactly. And there's some people that really need to take that advice.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at them. Hey, I'll stand in front of that line. Listen, I told you at the beginning of the show, I'm an expert in failure. Right. I mean, listen, I have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, several life coaching degrees. I'm a certified practitioner. But you know what? Who gives a crap? Who gives a crap about formal education? That don't mean jack. I got a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks. That's where I get my education from.
Me and you both. Now, see, that's what we educated the same. I ain't got none of that other shit, y'all. But right there, oh yeah, we educated the same.
Yeah.
In the school.
None of my degrees do anything with my coaching. None of my degrees do anything with my coaching. I'm gonna tell you something. If you, for example, if you're talking to a female who had a miscarriage, and you're talking to her, listen, you can shake your head all you want, you can empathize all you want, you can say I'm sorry all you want, and they can kind of feel it. But I'm gonna tell you something. If this lady that had a miscarriage is a woman who had a miscarriage, that discussion, that conversation is on a completely different energy level. There's no substitute for experience. So that's what I bring to the table.
Right.
That's what I bring to the table.
She said experience is everything.
That's right. There's no substitute for it. Nobody gives a crap about my degrees, my grades in my degrees, where I got my degrees. They want to know, do you get me? Do you get my pain? Do you get how I'm hurting? What the hell do I do now? They could care less if I got any kind of degree.
Exactly. Because life is not on paper. Life is outside. Life is outside. Life is experience. You got to go out there and get experience to really, really know what all the paper stuff that you got. That's when you really start to find out what that means.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't
I'll tell
you nothing about a Harvard. I couldn't tell you nothing about a bachelor's degree. I got a GED, a good enough diploma.
That's right. That's right.
This is a little something from the GED section.
I'll tell you something. Well, you got something I don't even have, because I quit school in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I quit school in 6th grade, and it's a long story. I'm not going to get into it now, but I wound up at 19 years old. I was homeless. I walked to the local community college and I begged the advisor to let me in. And she said, I need a GED. I said, I don't have one. She said, then I need a high school diploma. I said, I don't have one. She said, then I need a note from your parents. I said, good luck. I haven't talked to them in years. But whatever, here I am, with a master's degree in high honors. So that's all good. Life went well for me. But like I said, all these degrees don't mean jack when it comes to helping somebody with betrayal, because somebody needs to know, have you wore the shoes that I'm walking in right now? Because if not, I don't have time for you.
Facts. And you heard it here on Tantalizing Thursday. I want to thank my special guest for joining us tonight, Mr. J, because you done enlighten me and you done enlighten some people, because how the people talking in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and tell a friend. And you just had people talking, but it was interesting. And I believe that a lot of people will watch this and learn about themselves for real. You done spit a lot of knowledge. And so what I'm gonna ask is, what's your final thoughts on it?
Oh Lord. Okay, I'm gonna just say this, okay? Nobody has ever died from a snake bite, okay? Nobody has ever died in the history of mankind from a snake bite. What people die from is the venom that gets into their vein and reaches their heart and it stops it. So listen, as long as we're human, we're going to have pain from other people. Other people are going to hurt us. Other people are going to give us a lot of pain. But it's our job to prevent their venom from going all throughout our body and reaching our heart and jading us. We don't want to become jaded in life. We want to become better, not bitter. So other people give us pain. We're in charge of giving us suffering. Don't allow yourself to suffer. Watch how you narrate, because once you narrate, you ruminate, and then you marinate. Watch your self-dialogue.
And those were some wisdom facts in those final thoughts. So for all those who watch this again, I hope you're listening, because everything he said is fact. And you might just find out that you have betrayal trauma. You might have betrayal blindness, and you can seek some help, And that's just as far as my final thoughts, because, I ain't going to run my mouth. I'm just going to say everything he said was spot on facts. Listen to it. Go holler at Mr. J at MrJRelationships.com. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, smoke responsibly, drink responsibly, take care of your kids. Take care of your kids. Again, take care of your children. And we're going to say good night. And don't forget to watch us tomorrow night on The Council. Friday nights. We coming at you tomorrow. Don't forget about us. 9:30. We love y'all. Thank you again, Mr. J, for being with us. Good night, y'all. We love y'all and love each other. Like Mr. J said, love each other. Learn about yourself. Get yourself together.
And like Maya Angelou says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So